We get live right now, man. It's going down, excited for the season. You know, we coming off a playoff win. I mean, you know, we had a couple wins.
At least pride-wise, made me feel good because you don't ever want to get swept.
And I've never done this. I wouldn't wish this on anyone.
If you ask me, can the Bucks win Game 5? I put it at
100%
confidence. Yes.
I wouldn't wish this on anyone.
At this point, you don't know what's going to happen. You can get Game 6. You can steal it.
I wouldn't wish this on anyone.
Winning Game 6 and 7?
I wouldn't wish this on anyone.
I don't think they're going to win the whole series, but
I wouldn't wish this on anyone.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 226 of Dear Diaries, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast brought to you by us here, the staff at Brew Hoop. I'm Jackson Gross, one of your normal co-hosts on the pod. This was originally supposed to be a three-man weave, but our guy Jack, unfortunately, is not feeling well, so hopefully he feels better soon. But one of my favorite people on the site who's joined more recently, and I'm happy to have him on once again on the pod, it's Finn. Finn, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to be back. I think it's been since September now. October.
Yes.
We did opening week, and I was I was listening back to that episode, and we were all so much more optimistic than we are now. But still, as always, excited to talk hoops with you on this pod on this wonderful Monday evening. So let's do it.
Yes, let's see. Let's think back. So they have gone now 7-15 since that podcast. We're just living large as the Milwaukee Bucks.
What a time! What a time to be alive! What a time to be a Bucks fan!
Woo! Oh gosh! Oh man! You know, it could be worse though. We could be Bulls fans. There's that, or I guess
this is true.
Bulls fan. I'm so apathetic to them these days.
I'll steer clear of the subject just for your sake, anyways. But yeah, no, this would be a good time for you to just say you're just a Bucks fan.
Yeah. All right, let's get it. Let's review what's kind of happened over the past week, because we thought the last time the Bucks have had quite a few days off between their game against the Detroit Pistons and the game they had last Thursday against the Boston Celtics. They had Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They had 4 days off in between those games. And it showed, because they put on one of their best defensive performances of the season as Doc Rivers got his revenge on the Boston Celtics, 116-101. Totally wasn't because of the outlier shooting where the Celtics shot 3 of 28 from 3 in the second half, including 16 straight misses, and Bobby Portis and Kyle Kuzma shooting 80+% from the field. Had nothing to do with that at all. It was all the mastermind of one Doc Rivers. And we thought, again, hey, gotta win in the middle of the week against one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference, get some things rolling. Kyle Kuzma said after the game, like, hey, this is great, but it doesn't matter if we come out flat against the Brooklyn Nets. Doc Rivers is coaching him to do second efforts all the time now. They're practicing until it's dark outside, like Bobby Portis said, even though that doesn't mean much in the middle of December these days. But hey, I respect what he's saying. They practice it a lot. And boy, howdy, did they come out flat and soft against I think they got their 7th win of the season. The Brooklyn Nets did. One of the worst losses in franchise history, a 82-127 beatdown by the Brooklyn Nets, destroying any sort of optimism and honestly hope for the Bucks as they sit without Giannis, who have 3 wins all season without Giannis, if you want to include that game against the Pistons. So it has not been good. It has not been good at all. What are your thoughts on the week before we get into what you learned?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can start on the positive side with that Celtics game.
There's a positive side?
Yeah, barely, but yeah. I mean, I do think that obviously the shooting on both sides was outlier, but I do think that we saw that game what a win from a under talented team, I guess, in the NBA looks like, which is I think we did a pretty good job of like pressuring the ball and making their threes hard. Like they shot really poorly because they had some tough looks. We were forcing Pritchard to take tough pull ups, whatever, and getting contributions from like a good amount of guys offensively. I'll tell you what, I'd love me some Bobby Portis when his game starts with that 3-pointer and not the mid range. Which is what happened against the Celtics. Like that's like the optimal Bobby. He's never gonna shoot that well every game, but we know he can shoot. And obviously like Kuzma was awesome too. I thought Gary Harris played some decent defense. Like that was just like a nice little scrappy win. And even though I truly do not expect those with any sort of consistency without Giannis, it's still nice to get those little flashes here and there, as fluky as they might be, just for some fun, keep us engaged. What'd you think of that game? Got anything?
Yeah, it was just mind-boggling to see the Celtics struggle to shoot from three. I looked it up because I remembered it was 27, but I just wanted to make sure. I'm like, how close are the Celtics to the 27 missed threes we saw from the Rockets? God, 6 years ago now? Against
whatever it is, it makes me feel old, so I don't want to think about it. And I'm not even old, but like that was, that was long enough ago now where I was in like middle school, and it is.
Now you're making me feel old. Oh my god, I was a junior senior in high school.
Steer clear.
But no, yeah.
Okay,
so
we're still
like,
prime.
Exactly. But no, I think it was just nice to see, like, even, yes, it was an outlier shooting performance by both teams in that regard. I just loved, and I wrote about it in the player grades, I just loved how active Bobby Portis was on defense. And it was like the first time all season I've seen him put forth a really strong defensive game. Got his first double-double of the season, which was great to see from him. And I was trying to look this up, and I think I might have found it. Because I was you're talking about the 3-point shot. Let's see. I thought he was higher up here. At some point, I thought I saw Bobby Portis was like number 1 in 3-point percentage among guys from like open. Oh, yeah. He's number 1 in the league in open 3-point shooting of guys who take at least 2 a game. He's shooting 55.6% from 3 when he's left open, which is 4 to 6 feet on 2 attempts. So it's just like, yes, take open threes, Bobby, because apparently you can just hit them. So, and it was up higher in that percentage even before his performance against the Celtics. This was not a just post Celtics game boon. But yeah, like overall, I just liked, even Cole Anthony looked pretty good in spurts outside of that one possession where he basically went ring around the rosy a couple of times around the court, like he was playing around the world. But yeah, there are a lot of good things. Kevin Porter Jr. getting a triple-double looked really solid. Obviously, distributing the ball to Kuzma and Portis. Ryan Rollins is kind of settled in as a bit of a secondary creator, getting to the basket, hit some catch and shoot threes. So maybe he might not win most improved player at this point. He might not be able to put up the stats, but he's still finding ways to contribute, even with Kevin Porter Jr. getting more of the ball handling duties. But yeah, there was a lot to like. But again, as we found out, it was just because of a lot of outlier shooting on both sides of the ball, both sides of the game. And then, yeah, let's get in. Let's dissect this as much as we can. Let's do an autopsy on what happened in Brooklyn. I didn't watch. I was in the afterglow of a dominant Bears win, which I'll get into later. And I didn't want to spoil myself by seeing the Bucks lost by 45 points to one of the worst teams in the league. I don't know if you saw it, but just what happened? Like, I felt like I saw it was fairly close early, and things just kind of spiraled.
Yeah, so I I chose to reward myself today from a long day of studying with watching this game. I looked forward to it all day. And boy was I not disappointed. No, but I mean, uh, you know, there's a lot we could get into here. I think the first thing that came to mind to me is like when you're going up against a team like the Nets, you're obviously looking at them as one of the worst teams in the league, as they are. But um, also, I feel like they had the two best players on the court, Michael Porter Jr. and then Claxton and Turner are like in theory Turner's better, but not the way he's been playing this year necessarily. So like, there's that off the board. Like the Bucks are like, we're looking at them like they can beat these teams, but without Giannis, we're really not that talented compared to most teams in the league. So we'll talk about that more later. But that off the bat, and then the real kick in the pants is like Jordy Fernandez is just awesome at maximizing his players. No matter who's on the court, he gets those guys to play hard. And we've seen that in head-to-head matchups against Brooklyn for at least 3 years now. Just like getting into dog fights with them when we shouldn't. And well, he's able to maximize his talent like that. Doc, nah, man. Nope. That's just not how he rolls.
Yeah. I just want to say really quick before you continue, like, here's the cherry on top of what you're saying. Jordy wasn't even at the game. He was sick. He didn't even coach. It's his assistants doing the same thing.
That's true. Yeah, that's crazy work. I kind of forgot about that, which makes it even worse.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think like just in terms of like the actual basketball stuff I saw, I just think that the Bucks kind of they just kind of struggle with like intense ball pressure right now. Without Giannis, who's like your lead ball handler, I guess you're already at a bit of a disadvantage. But like we've seen Rollins have moments, up and down moments throughout the season as he grows into this bigger role, where sometimes he struggles a bit with like that extra ball pressure and being like a guy the defenses are focused on. And like KPJ is an erratic player by nature, as is like a guy like Kuzma. And so we're going up against this Brooklyn team that like they just want to play hard and they just want to pick you up. Like Drake Powell was dogging last night, like Tyrese Martin. And that definitely slowed us down. We turned it over a lot. Paint defense, not really there last night. I think Brooklyn, I don't have like the margin, the actual stats, but they outscored us in the paint by a decent bit, I think. And it was just the Bucks looked discombobulated, and the Nets looked like a team that was playing up to the competition, and the Bucks looked the opposite. And like I'm a believer always in like anybody can beat anybody in the NBA because it's just the regular season, everybody's good, fluky stuff happens, but still, this was a really disappointing effort from the Bucks.
Yeah, and I just wanted to check on it. Brooklyn actually didn't outscore the Bucks by much in the paint. It was 50-44 all told.
Oh, okay.
The biggest thing was the turnovers. You're talking about the ball pressure. The Nets forced 20 turnovers and scored 30 points off of those turnovers.
That's some Thunder type stuff right there.
Yeah, and I mean that happens when you limit the Bucks to 11 points in the fourth quarter as well. Like just so much bad. Just so much bad. But overall, just from the week and just about this team in general, what did you learn?
Yeah, so I learned honestly like that I think that it's just time to get funky with rotations. I think when you're this team that we don't have our star and we've got a bunch of like decent players out there and we just lost by 40 to the Nets. Like something has to switch up, and we all know what the number one thing that needs to change is. But then also what comes with a new head coach is like probably different rotations. But like I just want to like toss Ajax out there. I want to like maybe toss Pete Nance out there. Let's like do something crazy and put like Bobby Jericho and Turner on the court together. Like I don't care like what it is. Like it doesn't have to be that specifically, but like I just think we should like switch stuff up and just like see what sticks, because we are currently at a talent disadvantage, even like with Giannis compared to lots of other teams in the league. So I just think this is a good time right now to like figure out truly what the optimal rotations are, and then like the way we can use those guys on both ends of the floor. Because like the defense has got to be better, which I know is something we've touched on. So it's like, all right, which guys are actually our best defensive unit? Does that involve Ajax? Is that like Turner at the 5 and like Bobby at the 4? Like we got Jericho in. Like just what does that look like? I just want to like play stuff, like play around with stuff and see what sticks.
Yeah, just thinking about it, because I remember, because they ran that lineup quite a bit, especially with Giannis out. They've had Jericho, Bobby, and Miles Turner all on the floor at the same time. Because, I mean, Jericho's basically like 6'6", 6'7", which in terms of like centers.
Jericho Sims is 6'7"?
Yeah, he's not that. He's around the same height. He's a little bit shorter than Bobby. At least
Wait, seriously? Dude, his hair was, he's throwing me off.
Yeah, he's a short center, man.
Well, Basketball Reference lists him as 6'10", though, which could be wrong.
Not 6'10".
But
he is not 6'10". Like, yeah, there's just no shot. He's
you learn something new every day.
Regardless, he's a shorter center. He plays basically forward in those kind of lineups, and there was some good stuff that they did with him with that lineup against the Celtics, especially. And I felt like even last week there were some decent moments with that lineup against the 76ers. But like you said, there's just such a talent disadvantage. The thing I will say though is like, yes, as much as we'd love to see like Pete Nance get some run, like, yes, you would try on defense, but I just don't think he has the physical frame to handle centers or even bigger fours at this point. I'm not saying you start him or you play him a lot, but it's not like there is another actual, at least at the bigs, there's not another actual solution on the roster that you're not already playing. Now, I will say that I agree with you. I want to see more Ajax. I want to see, heck, throw Amir Coffee back out there. We made, like, I know we only cut Tyler Smith, but it's like we made all this fuss about bringing him in on a training camp deal. And like, it was basically locked up. He was going to make the roster. And we get him and we play him the first week or so of the season. And he basically doesn't play unless it's garbage time. So like, I don't even know like what, if I should even ask about that, because it's just like, why are you not playing him? You lost Taurean Prince for the year. And yes, Gary Harris is playing pretty well. I'm not going to deny that for what he is. But it's like you need bigger wings, and the one guy you got as like your third string small forward or wing, you're not playing. So it's like, what did Amir Coffee do to be benched at this point? So like those guys I would rather try out in spots rather than like a Pete Nance. And that's not saying I don't think Pete Nance could do stuff. I think more of the issue is coming from the wing and the wings. Like, it's not really the bigs, because there's not a guy you haven't really seen that is going to do something. Like, you're already maxing out those guys as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think like my overall point is not necessarily like we got a savior on the bench. It's more just like, what is the right combination of talent to roll out there? For what it's worth, Cleaning the Glass, unless I'm like using it wrong, says Bobby, Jericho, and Turner haven't played together at all.
Okay.
Which I'm not like saying you're wrong or like I'm right.
They might have not played enough minutes to qualify. It maybe is like such a small sample size that they're not counting it. Or maybe I'm just thinking, no, they've played all three of those three guys together, or at least Miles and Jericho and Bobby and Jericho at points. So maybe
I know we've done like the double big stuff. I mean, I don't know. I trust you. I was just trying to look for some data on that lineup, but couldn't find anything. But regardless, Yeah, the Amir Coffee thing is really interesting. I mean, like watching last night, like Michael Porter Jr. getting the catch on the wing, and he's got like Gary Trent on him or like Ryan Rollins, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna shoot right over you."
Yeah.
It's like, all right, yeah, let's get some size out on the wing, please. The small ball stuff only works so well. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what the answer is exactly. I wish I had something, and that's why I feel like I just time to try some stuff. But I don't know. I'm in a bit of a point of like not like discombobulation, but just
It's
like
just you're
trying
at
to
a
rack my
loss,
brain.
right?
Like, yes, yeah.
It's
And I wanted to say something that wasn't fire Doc. So yeah, that was where I was at. But what did you learn this week? What was your takeaway?
well, since you're not gonna say it, I'm gonna say it. Is that keeping Doc Rivers longer is not helping the team. You said it off the top when we were talking about that game against Brooklyn. Like, he just doesn't maximize the talent when he doesn't have superstar talent. Like he's a good coach when there are good players on the team and he can kind of just manage the personalities in the room and just kind of have a good enough system that those star players can kind of take advantage of and have some regular season success and the occasional playoff success. Like, you just look back at every stop he's been in, because I'm always get it mixed up, because I believe he had Tracy McGrady in his first stop when he was coaching the Magic way back in the day. I think that was his first head coaching stop. He had Tracy McGrady in Orlando. Then he gets the big four in Boston with Rondo, Allen, Pierce, and Garnett. And then he gets the Clippers with Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan. And then he gets Philly with Maxey, Harden, and Embiid and Tobias Harris. So, and then he gets the one season with Dame and Giannis, and they're okay. Like, he's good with that. The players like him. He's a good players coach. Yeah, he just does not either doesn't have the staff underneath him to do that stuff for him, or does not have the tactical mind to kind of do those things. Because, and I'm going to go back to this, the two things I bring up, I swear I'm a broken record. Talked about using Miles Turner on the elbow in the half court as a secondary distributor and like letting him operate there, and saying he wants two actions on every off the ball on every single half court set. And none of that has happened. Miles Turner is basically Brooke Lopez, where they just stick him out on the perimeter and have him do pick and rolls and pick and pops. That's it. And then the only actions in the half court are dribble handoffs, and pick and rolls. There's no off-ball screens. There's no down screens. The only time they really do down screens is for AJ Green occasionally. There are no pin downs. And when you're without Giannis and you're without AJ Green, you've been without AJ Green since the Philly game last week. Like, you're missing your best three-point shooter and one of the best three-point shooters in the league. Can't do some of those things. So, yes, there is a talent problem, and any head coach, Phil Jackson, would struggle with coaching this team, even if you remove the the triangle offense is archaic thing. There is a talent problem, but there's also a lack of ability to get the most out of talent. And I brought it up last week with Jack, with Eric Spoelstra in Miami, and you talk about all the undrafted guys, all the guys you rave about on the bench warmers all the time. Like, I remember the one, I think it was just after one of those games, like Drew Smith had a big game. He was an undrafted guy. They don't have a top 10. I don't think they have a top 10 pick on that roster. Everyone is either late lottery,
Wiggins,
second,
but
I mean, he was
but like outside of that, still like Bam and
he was a
Hero.
finished product when they got him. So it's not even like
Right.
all the guys they have brought in terms of like undrafted free agency, the draft itself, or things of that, or yeah, And I mean, they've just all developed really well. I mean, I think Davion Mitchell was a lottery pick too, but
yeah.
so like getting the most out of those guys and still being a pretty good team in the East, and just deciding, yeah, we're not going to really run pick and rolls anymore. I mean, I'm sure they run some now that Hero is back. They were kind of going without it. And I mean, even just going back to the other like late lottery guys, you got Jaime Jaquez in there as well. Bam and Hero were late lottery picks. And then fleecing the Clippers out of Norman Powell to be almost a 25 point per game scorer. Like, not only is their front office doing a great job of finding these guys, but the coaching staff and Spoelstra pushing them to be the best and fit within them. And I'm going to bring up a football analogy just for a second. It's like, and Packers fans will maybe understand this a little bit. It's like going from Mike McCarthy to like Matt LaFleur. Like, you have basically a guy who can manage, who has a decent enough playbook with a good players, and they do just enough, but don't win in the playoffs. But with LaFleur, he seemingly has a overall better scheme and can get the most without having a true like star receiver. Like they didn't have what they had in the back in the day with the Jordy Nelsons and the Devontae Adams and the Greg Jennings of the world. So just to kind of bring that back in. But yeah, I'm so sick of it. I hate to say it about my Marquette guy in Doc. I hate to see anyone lose their job. It's just past the expiration date with him with the Bucks. If he finds another job, another team that's like, hey, we got some stars we need you to manage, come on down, but it's just not it with this Bucks team.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on a lot of good stuff there, a lot of accurate stuff. There are just so many teams around the NBA right now that are good at maximizing talent that it's just like so frustrating to see the Bucks like almost do the opposite. Like, if it weren't for Ryan Rollins and AJ Green being like these like truly awesome development stories, like, what do we have to like point at or like have to point at right now and be like, hey, look, this is how we're like making ourselves better than we're supposed to be. It's been like almost 5 straight years of like underperformance now. Granted, injuries have played a lot of part, but like, yeah, man, ugh. I mean, Miami. I mean, like, I've watched Will Hardy and the Jazz for like 3 years now, like, be terrible, but also have stretches where like, look how awesome this offense they're running is, and how we've turned like Svi Mikhailuk into like a decent starter, and like Laurie Markin into like an All NBA player, because like I think that like creative like movement based offensive schemes, like the type of stuff you're talking about with like let's get more actions, is a way to maximize players when you don't have ball dominant stars who just like make stuff happen. Like when you don't have Giannis, you don't have guys who are creating advantages as well. But when your offense kind of has that built in, where guys are like moving the ball and getting open looks and all that, like that's a way to maximize, and that is just not happening. And I mean, like, we don't have the best defensive personnel, but like you can make a team play hard on defense, and that is half the battle. And that's just like not what's happening. And I really hate to scapegoat coaches in sports because I feel like it happens all the time, but it is just so evident that like some sort of fresh mind is needed, and that is what I like just wrote about recently. But like, this team is not bad. We're talking about the talent disparity, but it's not bad. This is a decent roster, especially with Giannis, and the fact that it's like not living up to expectations feels like more than partially a coaching problem. And yep, that's just where we're at.
Yeah, and just I want to take through this exercise really quick. Like let's go into Sunday's game against Brooklyn, and like keep in the mind, let's just say that AJ Green is healthy. Like, how many players like on the Nets like would you take over like players on the Bucks right now, minus Giannis, of course?
Like, should I do like some sort of like head to head here or like
Well,
what's
just like
the...
I was just thinking, like you said, like that Claxton and Turner are pretty comparable.
Oh, sure.
But like in terms of like
Mm.
who's the better player, like across both teams, like you know how they say like, oh, this team has the best player in the series, like
Right.
so like I would say overall probably by a hair's edge, I gave Michael Porter Jr.'s the best player between those two teams. It's really like splitting hairs there.
I mean, the way Porter's playing, I think he gets it. He's averaging like 26.
Okay,
So,
but that yeah, so let's okay, so we'll say KPGA and then or yeah, Michael Porter, then we'll say KPJ are like tied basically, either or. And then maybe Cam Thomas gets thrown in there. But after that, like most of the guys you would pick, just on a talent standpoint, in my opinion, would be Bucks players. Like
no, I agree.
like maybe you throw in
Yeah.
Noah Clowney as another guy because he's had some moments with the Nets. But yeah, I'm taking Ryan Rollins over Igor Demon and Danny Wolf. I'm taking AJ Green over
No,
those guys.
100%.
Heck, in certain situations, I'm taking Kyle Kuzma over those guys. Like, there is something there. They're just not being used the right way. And it's, like you said, it's frustrating because you see what is the potential, but it's just not being used because the coach doesn't know what to do, or maybe doesn't know what to do, but it just can't.
Yeah, no, like I think heading into the season, a lot of people were talking about how like, yeah, this team isn't as talented as the Chris and Drew rosters, the Dame rosters, but look at how well all these guys fit together and like look at the potential here for like a high volume like perimeter offense where we're out shooting teams, we're playing fast. Like the potential was there. And that's just not how the team is being used. We need a modern mind. This guy Doc's been coaching for too long. We pulled him off the broadcasting table. Like, I feel like his time has just come. I think it's like there's too many like new coaches around the league doing like innovative stuff where we should feel like we need to stick around with this guy who coached Tracy McGrady in Orlando. Like, come on, man. Like we just need something fresh.
Yeah, and like another thing that they talked about a lot in preseason, it was like, oh, we want to be like the number one 3-point, like in terms of attempts, because they're still number one in percentage. They're the only team shooting over 40% from three. But let's see, they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13th in attempts. So they're still barely above league average in 3-point attempts. And yeah, some of that might be swatted down by like having a player like Giannis who barely takes any threes. But like,
no, that's coaching.
that's all.
Coaching,
Yeah,
I think.
That's also coaching because like you should have honestly, AJ Green should be taking 8 to 10 threes a game at this point once he's healthy.
There are players so much worse than him who take more threes than him. Like, I mean, yeah, the guy's taking what? Like, is he taking like 6 or 7 a game right now?
I think
like, I bet Dylan Brooks is taking 7 a game, and like that.
I mean, just like in some of the other teams, like the bad teams ahead of them, like Portland, Brooklyn, Charlotte, Utah, Memphis, are all taking more threes than the Bucks this year. Like
Coaching.
Yeah, it's all goes back, and what you wrote about in your article too. It all goes back to accountability, not just for the players. Like if they play bad, like, and I think it got somewhat misconstrued that like when we want guys to be on the bench, at least for how I view it, like it's for a quarter, because like you don't have the talent elsewhere. Like if a guy's like just not doing it, bench him for a quarter. Just do that. We're not saying a long-term benching. But it also goes back to accountability for the coaches. And Doc did take some on Sunday after that game against Brooklyn, saying he said he clearly didn't have them ready, which is crazy. You don't have a team ready to play the 6-18 Brooklyn Nets. But at least he's not doing any of the stuff he said he would when coming into this season. Like I said, not running multiple actions in the half court, not using Miles Turner off the elbow as a secondary distributor, not being in the top 10 not even being in the top 10 in 3-point attempts. Like they wanted to be number 1 in 3-point attempts and still be somewhat close in 3-point percentage. And they're not even top 10. So it all goes back to accountability. And I honestly, as much as we say like, oh, they had that time off before the Celtics game, they'll fire Doc then. Oh, now they have all this time off before the Raptors. But like, honestly, if they were going to fire Doc, it would have been done today. It would have been today because they bring in Darvin Ham as the interim and then have a clear vision for what they want to do in the less than 2 months until the trade deadline. That's kind of how I view it. So honestly at this point, unless they lose another game to the Wizards, they lose that one on New Year's Eve to the Wizards. I think they're just going to ride Doc out until the end of the season and then let him go in the offseason.
Yeah, I don't think that's unreasonable. I mean, I think like the case does not need more files, like whatever. There doesn't need to be more evidence. We know what needs to happen here. And if the Bucks can't realize it, I don't think that we can do much more to say it and make it obvious. I think it should be pretty clear. So I guess that all that's really left to say is just echoing what Van had to say today over and over again in that recap is just it's just fire Doc. And that's really all you can leave it at until the Bucks like figure it out. But yeah, I don't think it's like crazy to say he would stick around for the rest of the season. There's been plenty of opportunities to get the guy out of the door. They might just like maybe not want to like piss Giannis off, maybe.
But like at the same time, and we're gonna get into some Giannis and like Bucks rumors because there's a lot that happened the last couple of days. I don't know. I mean, like at the end of the day, like yeah, you might like Doc, but like you also want to win. You want to win games, and you need to win games with him out because at least how I'm reading it, he's probably going to be out until they play Sacramento at the start in 2026. Like that's so you're going to be without Giannis the rest of the month of December. And luckily they get a pretty easy slate of games during that time. They have Toronto and Minnesota to start out on Thursday and Sunday. But then as part of this big road trip, you got Indiana, Memphis, Bulls, Hornets, Wizards, Hornets, Kings, and then you get into the tougher West Coast games with Golden State, the Lakers, and the Nuggets, and in about midpoint of the new year. Like if you can't somehow be 500 by Sacramento, because how many games is that? That's, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you can't be 500 in those, like have a 500 record after those 9 games, like you got major problems. You have major problems that like Giannis is not going to be like, okay, this is I'm done here. You can't win. You can't beat all these crappy teams without me, and we're even struggling to beat them when I'm here. Why am I here?
Yeah, I mean we're about to get to the Chris Haynes report from that Kevin O'Connor podcast or whatever, but yeah, Giannis wants rings, and we've shown him time and time again that we are willing to do what it takes to put him in that position, like to optimize the chances of competing. I don't think we are in that position today, Monday, December 15th. Maybe that trade is coming soon or whatever. But yeah, I think that you make a great point. If we lose to Charlotte twice in the Bulls and the Wizards, and we can't even beat win 2 of those games at least, like, yeah, no, I'd be
potential
honest,
loss
I'd
to
be
the
starting to get
Pacers or
pissed
the
off.
Grizzlies on top of it.
Right.
So it's not looking good. It's not looking good. But to cheer ourselves up, maybe just a little bit. Let's get into the Giannis / Bucks rumor roundup. We'll start off with a little bit more of the positive side of things. I wrote about this today. Make sure to head over to brewhop.com to read it. That not only did Mark Stein of the Stein line, but former Brew Hoop alumni, Eric Name of the Athletic, they both talked about how basically the Bucks are not fielding offers for Giannis right now, but more importantly, that they are looking to add a player around the two-time MVP, with Eric specifically saying that a league source told them that they were looking to make a significant addition to add around Giannis. And then Mark Stein also said that he believes that Giannis isn't going to leave, not that he's not going to leave, that the Bucks are not going to field offers until Giannis tells them, like, hey, I'm requesting a trade, or you need to start listening to offers, basically, that he will direct them to do it. And then just to throw out some names that have already been mentioned that the Bucks have potentially been looking into. The big one right now, of course, is former Bull Zach LaVine. Way back, there was a report that they were doing some background work on him. And then Sam Amick of the Athletic confirmed that they did some background work on Zach LaVine. Anthony Simons has been a guy they were monitoring in the offseason that maybe the Celtics want to get rid of because he has a higher salary. Maybe swap him for Kuzma to get some more luxury tax relief. And then the only other player the Bucks have been mentioned in, which it seems highly unlikely, is Chris Paul. And I even wrote this in the article. It's highly unlikely, because of the beef between Giannis and CP3, probably dating back to the finals. And then because Chris Paul doesn't want to leave the West Coast. And I think the Suns and the Mavericks were a couple other teams that were listed as potential suitors. So those teams probably fit a little bit more with what Chris Paul would want. So before we get into the Chris Haynes part of it, what just your thoughts on the Bucks looking to add, and maybe that could change, but if they are going to heavily target Zach LaVine, where do you see him fitting in?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is the exact type of team that needs to be a buyer. I mean, like, if we're not either like selling, like we're blowing it up, doing the trade that shall not be named or whatever, and just like, flipping everything, then like we got to be trying to get better. There's no room for stagnation right now with this team, or that will mean like Giannis is going to want to leave, or we're just going to be mediocre. Like, so we got to do something. And I am not at all, honestly, at this point, concerned about like fit, really, honestly, when we're trading for a guy. Like, when it's a dude who's as talented as Zach LaVine, we do not have enough of like an identity or a system in place where we can worry about something like that. It's more just like, let's just go get the guy and then figure it out from there. Like, our offense is funky, our defense is not good. Like, Zach LaVine isn't gonna make it like that much worse, where it's like, oh no, he's not gonna hurt, he's not gonna help on there. But like, that's Zach LaVine is a really good player, and that is like, I would be all for getting him, because I just think that that's the type of move we need to make. And I don't know, I don't want Chris Paul, obviously. Maybe a guy like DeMar DeRozan, or like, I know we've talked about like Trey Murphy. I don't know who else is available, but like, if we can get that sort of significant talent upgrade, I think that should be in the cards. As for exactly what LaVine would look like on this team, I think that would be a pretty good fit. It's easy to see him playing next to Giannis, because he is probably one of like the 5 best shooters in the NBA right now. Can be really good off the catch, can also like do the secondary stuff. Like he could almost sort of be Chris Middleton-ish. Like they're not the same player, but like just that secondary bucket getting guy. So and maybe he would help us get like that offensive octane up, get our 3-point volume up, whatever. So I'd be all for it. Would you like that? What's your take?
I go back and forth on this, and I'm going to remove all bias because as a guy, as a Bulls fan and someone who has a Zach LaVine jersey in his closet, I'm going to try and remove all that part of it. I like the idea. I think when Giannis plays, he's an excellent fit at the 3, where you roll KPJ, Rollins, LaVine, Giannis, and Turner out there. That's honestly, I like that a lot. And in a winning environment, Zach LaVine can be a pretty solid defender, at least on the ball. You saw that when he was with Team USA the year, I think it was leading into that random blip of a good Bull season. And then even in that Bull season, he was looking pretty solid on defense, minus just the nagging knee injuries. But I like that. And then obviously he's great off the ball. He can create his own shot, takes another level of pressure, not only off of Giannis, but KPJ and Rollins, where now you basically have it as Giannis is your first offensive option, LaVine is your secondary creator, and then all those guys just get moved down to the totem pole. And that's not to say they can't do it. It's just less of a load on them, and that makes the Bucks a more dangerous team. The potential problem I see is that, let's say, and not that this is going to happen anytime soon or whatever, let's just say Giannis gets hurt again, or they do the trade now where he's still hurt. That trade is mandatory Kuzma, Portis, and a minimum guy because of the salary stuff. Because Zach LaVine, unfortunately, is making $47.5 million. Thank you, Arturas Karnisovas, for that. So the concern I have, and maybe they just decide to play small and play like, once he's healthy, AJ Green at the 3, and like just throw a 4-guard lineup out there with Miles Turner. Is if Giannis is out, who do you play at the 4? Because those 2 guys you would play right now have been Kyle Kuzma and Bobby Portis when Giannis doesn't play. So for a team that already doesn't have a lot of size, especially when Giannis is injured, you're trading two more of your front court guys in that situation. So it's really unfortunate because, like, if LaVine was making what DeMar DeRozan is making, or Kyle Kuzma is making, or even if he was making $30 million, that's such an easier contract. You could do Kuzma, a minimum guy, maybe the Kings maybe like a Cole Anthony or an Andre Jackson Jr., and a protected first-round pick from the Bucks, either in 2031 or 2032. Like, that would just be, it's such an easier trade to swallow while Giannis is injured, or if he gets injured again. That's the only concern I have, is like, okay, then you're going to sign somebody off the street, or could you convince the Kings to give up somebody else, maybe like a who's their backup center? I looked at him a while ago.
They got like Drew Eubanks and Precious Achiuwa right now.
Yeah, Drew.
I would
Eubanks.
take a Precious, I guess.
Yeah. Or Precious. Just like if you could get one of those guys back in the trade, that you could just have a backup center. Maybe you roll a Jericho Sims a lot more, or maybe you start playing Amir Coffey more. Those are some options, but it's just, unfortunately, with the financial cost of getting LaVine, it's hard not because like, oh, I love Kyle Kuzma or Bobby Portis. I like them as players. It's just what the size of those players and what those players do is what concerns me in terms of, and with how injury prone Giannis has been this season, that is a hold the horses for me right now.
No, that's fair. I mean, like, I wasn't really thinking contracts when I kind of forgot exactly how much he was making. That, NBA money's just crazy nowadays. But like, I guess I think so. I just saw before we hopped on a Bleacher Report trade, just like a mock-up that was Bobby, Ajax, and 2031 for Herb Jones. And I look at that, and I love Herb Jones. That dude is so good, especially on defense. But he's not gonna be like the difference maker. He's just like
Yeah.
not. And I mean, like Levine isn't gonna be the difference maker from us just like fizzling out in the first round, like winning a championship. This team is like multiple moves away. But like he's got more of that like potential to make this team better because he is like a true all-star talent. So like I think if we're gonna give up that pick, like that's just like the type of player we should be going after. And I guess it doesn't have to be Levine. I don't really know who else it would be off the top of my head. But yeah, I don't know. I mean like maybe you work something out where like you try DeMar and Keon Ellis, and then you're looking maybe decent. At least DeMar's like a forward and Keon can play defense, or like maybe you try to. We talked about Jeremy Grant in the Discord last night. I don't know if there's a world where you like get him and then like another little piece. Jeremy Grant's nowhere near as good as Levine, but he is size and he
Yeah.
can score. Like it's a tough spot to be in because his team is so small as it is, and like Kuzma and Bobby were kind of supposed to be the trade bait. And now we're in the position where it's like, oh, we could trade them, but now they've low-key become like too important at work. I mean, and like Kuzma has been playing well, but you know, it's like these are supposed to be the guys that we were like, we're gonna get Kuzma's value up, and then like look at that salary, that's perfect, we can flip him. But the type of player that we need and like what we have to trade like aren't lining up perfectly.
Yeah, and just looking at it, so that trade financially would work if you're talking about DeMar and Keon Ellis for like Kuzma. That does work because that's only how much is that? That's 27 million coming into the Bucks, and they're giving up 22.4. So they're only adding 4.6 million, so that totally works. Yeah, maybe work something out like that where you can have DeMar's kind of just a secondary scorer, and then you get Keon Ellis in there as for your 3-and-D guy. And I mean, like for a guy who was like this, the Kings seemed pretty high on. They're only playing him like 18 minutes a game in the 14 games he's been playing, which is kind of weird. And he's a free agent to be at this point. Oh, he has a team option, so we'll see if they even pick that up. Yeah, so maybe they do something like that, or maybe there's a 3-teamer involved where the Bucks get some sort of just backup wing in there somehow. Like maybe they get like Achua from the Kings and someone else for like an Ajax something or other, like throw in a second-round pick or something on top of it. So there's some potential avenues, and this will probably spur a trade article in the near future. But yeah, there's just a lot. There's a lot to think about. Before we move on to the rest of this stuff, let's get into the Chris Haynes stuff. I'll have you go ahead and talk about that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I my main takeaway is I just like watched the clip. I think that we've it's pretty obvious, and we've known that Giannis wants to win rings. So like great, and I think that like the organization has acted accordingly with that need in mind. So like I don't think that we need to like panic like this is some new development. I guess it's interesting like that like Giannis is denying that he hasn't put out any of these like trade requests himself. You know, who knows if that's just like cover up, whatever. I guess I don't really have a take. Kevin O'Connor was definitely just doing like some rage baiting or like clip farming, like trying to get some. He's like, it seems to me like Giannis is trying to hide something. He's covering it up. It's like, all right, bro. Like, I mean, maybe, but like, just you know, Chris is giving this report, so whatever. I mean, I think it's one of those reports where it's like, all right, it's interesting to know. I'll just keep it in mind. But I don't think it's like some sort of like crazy, like new development.
Yeah. And my whole thing with it is like, and again, I don't know if this is a common thing and I just don't understand, but like, how are you as a star player when the best players in the league just say, like, oh yeah, I can't control what my agents say and do? It's like, brother, they work for you. Like, again, I don't know the old intricacies of all of it. Maybe I'm just complete like a dumb here, but it just seems crazy to me.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's like some weird there, some sort of disconnect somewhere. But I guess it's just kind of tough to like make inferences off such a generally like non-concrete report. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I wouldn't be surprised at all if Giannis has like said something, but he's just trying to downplay it a bit to the public. Like, there's probably been points in time where Giannis has had conversations with front office people about like, like, hey man, look, I want to win. Like, let's take this serious, or like, I might want to go. And that's almost just like a bit of like holding accountability.
Yeah.
Sure, I'm just like, I don't doubt that like he would ultimately like want to be here, but we still have to we have to like continue to give him that chance to win here and like show that we care about what he wants.
Exactly. So well, we'll just have to wait and see on all of that. And unfortunately, is the nature of the beast with the NBA and the trade deadline. We still got till February 5th, so we got, what is that, 2 months minus 10 days. So we'll see how it all shakes out until then. But before we get to the distant future, let's look at the upcoming future and make some game predictions. So another 2-game week. Shout out to the NBA Cup for that. We have the Bucks will play the Toronto Raptors on Thursday at Pfizer Forum, and then they will kick off an extended road trip starting on Sunday with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Finn, what is your prediction for another short Bucks week?
As much as I would love to be highly optimistic, I don't really have that in me today with these. I would say we'll probably lose by less than 10 points to the Raptors, but I don't know. I think the Raptors are pretty scrappy right now. They've been good in transition. They can rebound. They're big. I just don't see us matching up super well against them. We did kind of have a tough time with them earlier in the year at points, so probably a close loss, but winnable. I don't feel good about the Wolves game. That's probably a 20-point loss if Ant plays. They're good. They're big. They're like what I mean, yeah, that's just not a game that's easy to win when you're really hurt and playing like the Bucks have been playing lately. So that's probably a loss I'm chalking up. Toronto, we'll see.
Okay, so basically lock in an 0-2 week.
I guess. I don't know. I don't want to be that guy, but that's just kind of what I'm trying to realistically predict.
Hey, you know what? I've usually been that guy is like, oh yeah, the Bucks are gonna. I think that week they played the Wizards and the Pistons and the Sixers. I think I picked them to go like 3-0 or something like that. So like it could be worse. It could be worse. I'm gonna say, because this is just the manner of things, Doc Rivers is gonna get another fluky Eastern Conference win against the Raptors on Thursday, because middle of the week Eastern Conference games, he is on a roll right now. He's gone 2-0 with middle of the week Eastern Conference games, where they're after a horrible loss against the Pistons, after they lost to the Wizards, did that to the Celtics after they lost. Oh, who did they lose? Oh, they lost to the Pistons. So I'm going to say after this horrible loss to the Brooklyn Nets, they'll beat the Raptors. But then to keep themselves on schedule and to never win more than 2 games in a row since October, they're going to lose to the Timberwolves. Honestly, maybe they squeak it out if Ant doesn't play. But even still, I think like they still have Julius Randle. I believe they still got Rudy Gobert. They still have Nas
Jaden
Reed,
McDaniels has been
Jaden
really good.
McDaniels. So that's still a really, really talented and big and deep team. And as we've seen this year, the Bucks don't do well against big, deep, and talented teams. So I'm predicting a loss there. And crazy enough, I think, unless I'm misremembering, the Bucks will be done playing the Toronto Raptors for the rest of the season. This is already the third time they're playing the Raptors this year. So
Wow. Yeah, I feel like we've had a lot of early season matchups with them recently, but also like April ones too. Like we had that one a couple years ago where we was like Bobby and like I think we might have started Mamu. Huh.
yeah,
Nice that we don't have to see them again, I guess, because they're decent this year. But
yeah. And I mean, just to think about it, like on the opposite end of the spectrum, up until like they scheduled that game against the Celtics because of the NBA Cup, they wouldn't have played the Celtics until February. Like,
oh wow,
they would not have seen the Celtics in 2025. Like, just how the schedule all kind of worked out. So very, very weird overall.
funny. The Knicks have played the Magic like 4 times now too. Like there's just weird. There's just weird stuff going on with this NBA Cup scheduling.
Yeah, the first year of the NBA Cup, the Bucks played the Knicks 4 times because they had that. I think it was the quarterfinal game at Pfizer against the Knicks in that first year. So fun extra matchups against teams you necessarily wouldn't expect. So, but we're gonna go ahead and move on to the non-basketball stuff. And you can tell me if I have the name of the segment wrong, but I put this up here. It's Finn's Madison Eats. Is that relatively close?
That works. I think I called it Badger Bites last time, but
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
It has been a little bit. Yeah. So today I actually I got a restaurant that is not in the wonderful city of Madison actually, but just south in my humble hometown of Oregon, Wisconsin. In November, I believe, maybe late October, this new sushi restaurant opened up. It's called Hers, like Hers, Hers, and got the opportunity to go try it with my family over Thanksgiving break, and it was like genuinely excellent food. They had a great variety of sushi, but they also had like ramens or like some like katsu chicken, and everything that I tried there was very good. The presentation was great. I do have I don't know how well it'll show up, but I did have a little picture.
You
You
can
can
send me the
see.
picture and I can put it in the video version of the podcast.
Oh,
Ooh,
sure, that works. But they really present it, and it's been like really, really busy, really popular, which is cool because Oregon is like a relatively small town and doesn't really have like business booming like that. So thought it was a fun place. Wanted to give it a shout. If you're in the area, it is only a 20-minute drive just down the highway, I guess, from Madison. So yeah, shout out to Hers Sushi.
Okay. I've only been to one sushi place a long, long time ago. So I don't necessarily, maybe not quite the place for me considering I'm a vegan, but I'd love to at least see what else, what else they got. But that looked really good overall, man.
Yeah, it was good stuff. The presentation. I guess I don't know if they've got like vegan sushi. They probably got like.
They probably got rice dishes or
like,
stuff like that. If I'm ever out there anywhere close, I'll give it a look. But
no, I wouldn't really expect you to be in the Oregon area. I don't really know. There's not a lot of people come to Oregon, that's for sure. But yeah, no, just thought I'd show it some love. But let's hear your Bears talk.
Yes, and I'm combining it because I can actually bring in some future builds that I'm going to be working on in the near future because it was I celebrated Hanukkah on Saturday, so got some nice gifts that of course included some Legos. But we'll start with the Bears talk. So needed a big win over the Cleveland Browns if they really wanted a shot at controlling their own destiny and basically getting a redo against the Green Bay Packers for a chance to win the NFC North. And everything went right for the Bears this week, which is something I've rarely been able to say in my. I really became a fan in 2006 in my 19 years as a Bears fan, which is insane to say. Not only did they get a big win over the Cleveland Browns, they won 31-3, just big time dubs. The Packers lost to the Denver Broncos in probably the best game I've ever seen out of Bo Nix. It was like I've heard all this talk about Bo Nix all season, about like just how mid of a quarterback he is, and like he was making some damn good throws out there against that Packers defense. So credit to him. Thank you for that. And then shout out to the Los Angeles Rams, who beat the Detroit Lions, basically locking them out of winning the NFC North, and helps out the Bears if they lose to the Packers again, and keep trying to stay in the playoffs, because they're now 8-6. The Bears are 9-4. Or 10-4, excuse me. They're 10-4 now. So yeah, great things this weekend for the Bears, and obviously now you just got to do it. Really cement yourself as the NFC North leaders, and you got another shot at Green Bay. It's a special Saturday night. It's a Saturday night game at Soldier Field, 7:00 kickoff. Really, really excited for that. I wish I could go, but your boy does not make enough money to spend $400 plus taxes on tickets to go to that.
Yeah.
So, but just beyond excited for all that. It's outside of the last time I played the Packers this season, this is like the most excited I've been for a Bears game all season.
Yeah, I feel like Chicago is one of those cities where like when the sports teams there are good, the league's a little bit better. And it is pretty fun to have like the serious Packers-Bears rivalry feels back when both teams are good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that game too. Wishing you best of luck, but also a loss.
And I just have to say, I feel so awful. I know everyone's talked about how bad like the Bears injury luck has been. Like they are down a bunch of linebackers. Jalen Johnson's been out most of the year. Kyler Gordon's been out most of the year. But man, losing Tucker Kraft and Micah Parsons to season-ending injuries, like at least for the Bears, outside of Terrell Smith, who was like their third or fourth string corner, everyone's had at least the chance to come back during the season. Like it was not a season-ending injury. So arguably losing your best offensive weapon and a top 3 defensive player in the world, like I'd hate to see that. Like that, I stopped watching the Packers game before that because I was just doing some other stuff, but I saw that and I'm like, oh my God.
Yep. Injuries, man. They always get you. Everywhere, every sport. They're bad right now. Sucks. What can you do?
Yeah.
It is what it is, I guess, but bummer.
All right. Let's get back to the more positive side of this double-edged segment. I'm going to grab the big box because we did get a big box.
Oh, yes. Let's see it. Just
give me 1 second. Hold on. Okay, what? Oh, it's on the front. Okay. All right. So, I don't know if you remember, but I am a big old Star Wars nerd. Like, we're talking,
Okay.
I don't know where the hilt of it is. I don't remember where. Oh, here it is. So just as proof, I bought myself a lightsaber at a convention like a year ago.
Whose lightsaber is that?
It's just a generic one they had. Like,
Okay.
if I wanted a character one, it was like $300 plus, and it's like, dude,
God. Wow.
I've gone down that rabbit hole. There are lightsabers that are cost almost $1,000. So I was not about to go down that rabbit hole. So my thing is obviously Legos and Lego Star Wars because I played those games growing up. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
The sets. I don't know if it's going to come through.
Oh, yeah, the ATST.
Yeah.
It's like half coming through.
Yeah, I can.
That's like the collector's edition type one?
Yes, it's the UCS version of it, which is
okay,
great.
Yeah.
Just to give some idea on the dimensions, it's about 14 and a half inches tall and 8.5 inches wide. So it should be a fairly substantial piece. It's 1,500 pieces. Just
Okay.
to give an idea. So I'm really excited to do that one. I have a bunch of like the Empire like vehicles. I have a TIE bomber. I have the Darth Vader's Super Star Destroyer. I have a regular Star Destroyer. So we're just adding to the collection of like Empire vehicles. All I just need now is really a TIE fighter.
That's beautiful. No, I love it. I'm a Star Wars guy too. Not as big as I used to be. I do have this on my desk.
Hey!
Like 13-year-old me, 10-year-old me would be like geeking out right now about the Legos. I think they're cool. It's cool for real. They're dope. Which one are you gonna build first? Are you gonna build that ATSC?
Yeah, because the other one I got is a smaller Spider-Man one. It's the scene from the second Tobey Maguire movie where they're Doc Ock and him are on the train.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's a smaller set. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna build that one. And then I have it. I've shown it before, but I have the AT-AT already built as well. So that's the other one I forgot. I have the AT-AT as well. So
all those ones you were naming, you already have.
Yeah, I already have it built.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man,
so
hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, so yes, if you watch the video version of these podcasts, that was the time for you to switch over to YouTube. Normally do say it beforehand, but I forgot. Anywho, any final words before we send it off? Anything coming down the pipeline from you, Finn?
Coming down the pipeline for me, I with winter break coming up, we'll just hopefully be having some extra time to put out more articles. I guess I'll plug my Two-Way Talents website. I'm always working on that. That's been a really fun project. That's what's coming down the pipeline. As for closing thoughts, I guess all I have to say is, even though we got to come on here and kind of doom and gloom a little bit and be critical, it is always go Bucks, and I will not be giving up on this team, even if I've got to watch. What do we got left? Like 50 some more games, 60. Even if I got to watch a bunch of games of mediocrity, I will be seated. And so, stay strong out there, people, and fire Doc.
Yeah, we got 55 games to go as the recording of this. So, hopefully, minus games Giannis are injured. Hopefully, they're all with Giannis in a Bucks uniform. That would just be weird for my first year on the beat to like they trade Giannis. Like the first year I was on the site, they traded for Dame. So just kind of a weird bookend with them. Oh yeah, let's just trade Giannis.
You're like an omen. Like when you get.
I don't want to be an omen. I don't want to be an omen.
Someone's got to be sacrificed for you to get your promotion. Maybe it'll just be Doc. It'll just be Doc.
Oh please, please.
And then soon they're going to be calling you for the coaching job. But then that's when Giannis.
You know what? Here's the plan. Here's the plan. I talked about it in preseason. Just Miles and Giannis pick and rolls all day long. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing. We're the anti-Heat. We're only running pick and rolls.
This is the guy I can trust to give me two actions every half court possession. He's got my voucher. And then you can get me on the staff, and you can lock me in a gym with Ajax until that dude comes out shooting like AJ Green. That's the role I'll play.
I'm just going to say, I'm not even sticking you in the coaching staff. I'm sticking you in like player development / scouting of two-way talent. And we were like,
oh yeah,
we will sponsor the site. We will sponsor two-way talents. And just build it out to the max.
All the efforts are going to you guys. Inside information. We're going to have the best. We're going to be popping out like the Heat, bro. We're going to have like gem after gem. Hopefully like Jamal Cain is one of them or something, but
we're oh, fantastic. Well, that's the plan. We have the master plan. All right. Thank you everyone for listening. if you want more content from us, whether it's more podcasts or just articles in general, make sure to head on over to brewhoop.com. Also, make sure to listen to this on wherever you get your podcast and watch this on YouTube. So be on the lookout for more content coming down the road. I thought my AJ Green article was going to be done, but there's some added construction needed to that article. So we'll see when that gets popping out. So, but until next week, Finn, thank you so much again for hopping on. It was always awesome to talk hoops with you, even if it's not always the most positive, considering where the Bucks are at.
Always a pleasure.
But until next time, go Bucks.
Go Bucks.